Afternoon all, how we doing? Sorry I'm a bit late this morning. Afternoon even. This afternoon even. Whenever we are, whatever time of period we're in. I've forgotten. How we doing? One second. Euro US. There we are. Okay, US dollar. Can you all hear me okay? Andy, afternoon. Looks like GU is a good place to go long. Looks like we get a 5-minute reversal very shortly. Yep. GU, EU, everything U. Looking good. So we've got a good movement starting at the moment. It's not giving us any reversal alerts yet. Euro US dollar the same. So obviously the GDP figures came out, which let me just refresh, was positive by a good 1.5%. So actually pretty good. But obviously the US dollar's just come down, so not a massive movement so far. So difficult to tell what's going on with it, but it is showing signs of life, and it's massively extended across everywhere. The US dollar, it's been pushing massively hard. Obviously you can see by the ADR dash, it's lit up like a Christmas tree. So there's an awful lot of movement on the indices. So on the indices, on the US dollar. But it's difficult to tell whether we're going to get that reversal starting today or whether it's going to continue to push. So it's not really gone anywhere. So I think we've got to wait really until 2:30 until New York opens and see if they can give this a bat down, basically. US dollar Swiss, same thing. So little bit of a push and then a pullback. It's just all kind of not going anywhere at the moment. So we need to give it a little bit more time, I think, and see where we get to with it. But not bad movement so far, but just very up and down. So wait for New York on that one. But as you can see, we've got an awful lot of stuff that has moved this morning, which is nice. So fingers crossed, New York is going to start to reverse all of these, or a lot of these positions that we've got happening this morning. But we will see. Indices have been pushing pretty hard. So good moves in London. Difficult to tell if it's going to continue. We are getting to some sort of areas of potential pressure on them, and obviously we don't know whether we're going to get this bullish day again. We thought we were getting a bullish day yesterday, didn't we? And then it collapsed. So we've had a really good push down today. We've rotated up to a high. Who knows where we're going to go for the rest of today. It's very, very difficult one to call at the moment. Earnings this afternoon. We have got earnings today, basically. We've had McDonald's pre-market. We've had MasterCard. Ball Corp. I'm not familiar with Ball Corp. Who's that? Metal can manufacturer. There you go. They obviously make cans for, I guess, Coke and people like that. Don't know. I heard of that one. Apple later on, and we've got Visa later on as well. So another big day. Obviously Apple. We've got Tesla last night. Tesla's not really gone anywhere today. It's kind of roughly where it was. We've had a little bit of a dip, but it's pulled back midline. So no real movement on Tesla. So yeah, we'll see what happens this afternoon. But really mixed movement on the indices, which is just weird at the moment. We just seem to be in constant rotational days at the moment, where we're pushing really hard in one direction, pushing back up, pushing really hard, pushing back up, pushing really hard. We're not going anywhere, are we? We're kind of settling into a massive accumulation, which worries me. Accumulations after drops quite often are continuations. So we'll see. But we got to get some bullish movement. We've got to crack some of these highs really to get any legs on any of these indices. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, at the moment, we're on a bull day. But obviously, we've been pushing all day. So chances are New York's going to pull it back before it goes. So not quite sure what I'm going to do today. I'm going to let the market open. I might jump into an early move, anticipating a drop on the open. So we've got 15 minutes to the open. So let's whiz through what we've got on the ADR front. So at the moment, Aussie dollar CAD, we'll whiz through these. Some of these obviously played out this morning. Aussie dollar CAD has hit to the low. Let's go to 15 minutes so we can see what we're doing. So that's just lit up, just hit Aussie dollar CAD. To the downside, it's obviously no directional bias, so take it or leave it. I don't like these ones where we've kind of had a big accumulation and then pushed down. I'd much rather see a big solid trend down to ADRs. So that doesn't look particularly interesting at the moment, but obviously you can drop down to lower time frames. Just see if there's any levels we're heading to at the minute on this one. Yeah, just crack down below these lows, so I'd say that's probably looking to push short. Yeah, doesn't look great. I mean, it's probably going to pull back and do a little profit take, but watch this level. So you haven't got a lot of room on that one. Not the best opportunity in the world, I don't think, at the moment. Aussie dollar Swiss, massive hit to the upside. Swiss franc, we need some strength coming through, and that will push that one down. So that's pretty good level. This one, looking at levels on this, we're kind of in a, I don't know, it's just we've returned to this accumulation, this area of balance here where we've been happily trading. We traded out of it, came back in, traded out of it, dropped down, we've come back in again. It's kind of an area that this one likes to trade. So a little bit of a difficult call on that one. It's not extended at all at the moment. So as an ADR reversal goes, yeah, looks spot on, 100% ADR. It's a pullback on this move. We should get a pullback on that one, and then it's obviously going to decide which way it's going to go from there. So looks good for a short. Might take a couple of days to play out because they may want to come up and grab yesterday's high and then drop it, but we'll see. So it looks quite good. Aussie dollar Swiss. CAD Swiss, I think this is one of the ones, yeah, so this is a 150. Obviously massive movement off of this one today. If you look at all these Swissies, where are we? Swiss yen, Euro Swiss. They've all had fairly decent moves today. US dollar Swiss, obviously massive movement, and pound Swiss. So we've had a decent move, which is on the Swiss franc weakness. So these ones that have got really extended, they look like beautiful entries. 150 is a lovely area to get in. So you're up at 150. 175 is a liquidity run sort of level. So if we do get a push up to there today, that's a really nice level to start looking for shorts. But as you can see, it's been absolutely relentless on its push. So at some point we're going to get a profit take on this. Big one or small one, doesn't really matter, does it? It's an ADR reversal. So 150 without stalling, lovely opportunity. So the CAD Swiss looks really good for a short. It's also just getting extended on the hourly, so you could play this as also as a H1 M5 reversal. Afternoon Thiffy? I can't say your name. THEFYE, the Phi. There you go. Afternoon anyway. Starting to look like it's heavy at the top. Reverse alert is a long way away on this, so you may want to just take a break of those lows rather than waiting for a reversal alert, because by the time you get the reversal alert, you've done kind of half an ADR. But see, this is just going to push up actually and make a new high potentially, which means your reversal alert is going to trigger off of this candle here, this down candle. So you're just going to get that drawn in there, which makes your entry really tight. So if we can push up a couple more pips, but that is really where I would look to get in aggressively on that one. Looks good. CAD Swiss. What else we got? CAD Yen. Big push to the upside again. Massive movement on that We've got a bit more weakness on the yens at the moment, obviously giving the CAD a little bit more of an opportunity to move up. 125 ADR. Again, reverse alert's a bit far away. If we can get a little bit more movement up on that, that's where your entry is going to be, breaking down below that level. So that looks really nice for a short as well. All these, when you're looking at ADRs, all the ones that are really extended and haven't had a breather, they're the much better options. So when you got these ones which have just hit 100 or even 125s, when you got 150s and 175s lit up, they're much better to take. So Euro odd, hit to the downside. Obviously you want to be shorting the Euro. Euro CAD, same thing, much rather be shorting it. Probably going to get a pullback on it, but not great. Euro New Zealand, hit to the downside. This has just gone into an accumulation down here. We just had a reversal alert on this one. Again, likely to pull back after a move of that strength. We've just come down into all this chop and consolidation down here, so it's a lovely kind of double bottom. Nice propulsion there to maybe enter as a target if we're going to continue the move down. But again, it's a euro, so just be a bit careful long in the euro because it is not very happy at the minute. Pound CAD, also a good one. Pound is a long. Canadian dollar is a short. So this is perfect lineup with COP bias as well. We've just taken out the liquidity down here. And when we get the reversal alert on M5, that is going to potentially be just a liquidity run and run off back up to the upside with it. Lovely tweezer bottoms on M15, so you've put in double bottom on M15, really tight reversal alert on M5 when you get it as well. Looks really, really good. So pound CAD looks lovely. Pound New Zealand has come off 125, again really nicely extended. Pound is a long, New Zealand is a short, so all these ones that have pushed off of the New Zealand dollar CPI news will be pulling back at some point. So again, really nice entry opportunity on that one. Pound US dollar is absolutely exhausted. When you look at the euro US dollar across all time frames, this is the inverse of the Dixie. We are down, where did we get to? Kind of 11 and it's still looking heavy at the moment on the hourly. 4 hourly, we are massively extended as well. This hasn't stopped moving for now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 4-hour candles on the trot and a big push down today. So 150 ADR, always good to get in on. Although this is the euro is still got to breathe. The US dollar's got to take its foot off the gas at some point, and then we are going to get a decent pullback on these. But with anything euro, don't go for anything big. Quarter to a half an ADR when you get the reversal alert on it, really. But looks great. Euro US dollar, all of these look great. So New Zealand dollars, all these New Zealand dollars have all pushed down really hard, beyond 100% ADR. So again, all of these New Zealand dollars are good longs as well. But you can see, I mean, I won't go through every single one, but they are all absolutely exhausted, especially the US dollar pairs. So wait for signs of weakness. At the moment, we're not getting any pullbacks, any reversal alerts. So just let these things run as long as they want to run. And when they do start to show signs of weakness and you start getting those M patterns and those reversal alerts coming in, pounce. And you'll get a nice little avalanche of moves. But there's loads of opportunities. So watch all of these this afternoon. If you've got the EA, it's worth sticking the EA on a good few of these. The more extended, the better. And the more in line with COP bias, for me, the better. So the pound's long, definitely. US dollar Swiss, US dollar yen, obviously that's counter COP, but those are absolutely shot. 175 ADR. So really good moves. Your 4 hours in 4 hourlies and hourlies, again, same thing. Pound odd. I'll quickly have a look at pound odd. That's not on the list today. Pound odd on the, where are we? 4 hour. Pound odd, we're stuck in a range at the moment, aren't we? I'd say that's probably the range, roughly. I mean, it's never to the pip. So we're stuck in a range since we made this move. We're making new highs. We've just done it again. We're pulling back into the range. So it's range bound. So sell it up at the highs, buy it down at the lows until it changes. I'd much rather buy it at the lows because the cop bias is long pound, short odd at the moment. At the moment, pound's obviously only just flipped long. So I'll be looking for longs on it. Just about to get a reverse alert long, literally. So that's just about to trigger. M5 would have already triggered. And it's just down towards ADR as well. So looks good. Pound odd for a long. Right, odd US dollar. Aussie dollar, US dollar on the 4 hour. Again, nicely extended. We did just about touch extension and we've now kind of embedded. This hasn't really had a chance to get a decent move off of that move there because obviously FOMC stepped in and kicked it back down again. So extended. With these US dollars, I'd wait for them to get very extended. This is only just tapped the 70. It's really far away from the 24 moving average. We're in a really nice area, which is potentially where we're going to see buyers stepping in. So there's a lot going for it. But we don't know how much this US dollar is going to power up. So this is a really good spot for buys down here. Nicely extended, but obviously it can get way more extended. So we could well be just trying to get down to double bottom at the sort of 700 level. So it's not my favorite at the moment, based on obviously that speed of movement on that US dollar and the fact that US dollar has not let up at all today. So I would be wanting to get into things which are very, very extended. So Euro US dollar, massive extension. I've already got this running long on H1 and H4 strategies. So I'm in it already. This is so shot. I mean, if you look back, we haven't been, this strength of movement. We had it dropping here and dropping there. We had the pullback there. We had an accumulation, big drop, and then we had a pullback, big drop. This is faster than that drop and more severe than that drop. So highly likely we're going to get a pullback, but 50% is probably all you're going to get. It may well come back and try and retest the source. So this is where we actually broke down from that level there. It may come back and try and test this big propulsion gap here, which is where the move started from. If it does come back, obviously I would expect it to get hammered again, but massively extended. We're getting to the bottom. So worst case scenario on this one, we'll probably just go into an accumulation, which you'll be able to get out of anyway. So looks good. Really like that Euro US dollar. I just hate longing the euro, but I have. But when I don't mind it when it's extended that much. It's absolutely shot. Pound US dollar is the same story. The pound is a long bias, so this one's got much more opportunity for bouncing. But again, with what we've got going on in government at the moment, it's difficult to tell. We could have the apple cart upset at any point in the UK. So we've got a couple of areas of potential support in this buy zone where we are at the moment. So this could potentially be where we bounce from. But again, if US dollar is going to continue to strengthen, we don't really want to be looking much more than that at the moment. Potentially that sort of movement for shorting, but very extended. Yeah, look at what we got last time we pushed down. We got that. Yeah, so always play worst case scenario. 50% retracement, 38 retracement on the move for getting out. But very, very, very extended. Really good mean reversion opportunity again there after a move of that sort of strength. But if the US dollar is going to go into a trend, you might get squeezed all the way down to these lows. So just be careful. If you're going to long anything against the US dollar at the moment, make sure you're spreading your entries out really, really well. 3/4 of an ADR is probably the best bet. Half an ADR might be a bit tight. So just be a little bit more cautious with them in case we do get squeezed on the US dollar. New Zealand dollar CAD has just hit. Again, we've had this. This is really shot, New Zealand dollar CAD at the moment. I don't really like the look of that for a long at all. It's not extended enough. If it gets even more extended, i.e. we get a really strong push and we get down below the 20s, I'd be interested in taking it, because worst case scenario, we're going to get a profit take out of the 20s, like this. So it's not extended enough for me at the moment. New Zealand US, I'm just curious, just care for the time because the market's just opened. New Zealand dollar US, nice extended, again, really, really nice extended against US dollar. So it's the same story, and the US dollar Swiss and the US dollars yen, same story in reverse. I mean, the movement on that, unbelievable, isn't it? We haven't been there for a long time. Strength wise, last time we got up there was here. Yeah, and then look what happened. Yeah, you cannot buy that long and hold it without wanting to take profit. And as soon as that profit take move starts, everybody starts hammering that sell button. We've got sellers here as well, potentially as well. This thing's coming down, looking great, looking really great. So above 80s, yeah, awesome opportunity, that one. Again, wait for a reverse alert. You're not going to get one because it's just like a steam train. When you do get one, it's either going to be the second leg or it's going to be the first leg and retest. So jump on it. Right. Hourlies. Again. Oops, wrong one. Sorry. Hourlies. Yeah, sorry, I'm running hourlies. 985 Euro US dollar on the hourly. Look. Unbelievable move. So we are embedded below 80. I haven't seen that for a long time. I really haven't. Embedded below 80. Absolutely shot. It's going to ping back. It's got to ping back. They've got a profit take on that. But I'd much rather not take that one. I'd much rather take something like the US dollar yen, which is massively extended and has got a chance of yen powering up to push this back down. This has got much more chance of collapsing from 150 ADR than the Euro US dollar has got pushing, because the yen can strengthen up, the Euro can't, hasn't got anything. And the US dollar Swiss, again, huge potential for a drop. Swissy will power up. When the Swissy powers up, it will kick everything into touch. Just wait for it. You're massively extended. If it continues to be massively extended on the hourly, yeah, it's just going to get more stretched, and the bigger the drop will be. It's that whole climbing up the stairs thing and falling down the elevator shaft. This is run up the stairs. It's coming down hard at some point, but yeah, wait until you get some sign of weakness. Don't just jump in. Wait until you get a sign of weakness. It's just starting now, look. So the last hour. Yeah, we're just starting. We've got a tweezer bottoms put in at support here. As soon as that low is broken, we need that low broken for a confirmation. And then it's either just going to go, or we'll probably get that. Unless, obviously, the US dollar wants to power up even more without doing a profit take, in which case we'll accumulate and go. And if that's the case, then you're going to get in again. So, but yeah, massive extensions on those. So really good. Right, let's have a look at what's going on with the indices at the moment. So market's just opened 3 minutes ago. So where are we? This is the first 5 minute candle. Sorry, that's the first 5 minute candle. No, sorry, this is the first 5 minute candle. Wake up. So a bit of a lackluster start at the moment. Not a lot of movement going in. The S&P is pushing straight out the gates. Look, tiny little pullback, and that's off. So pretty good movement. S&P is pulling back now. Heard me talking. Look. Just go to some of these lines. So difficult to call today. Really difficult. Based on the movement that we've had, it's just not really giving us any indication of direction. We are literally just sitting in a multi-day rotation on the daily chart at the minute. So if you come out to look at hourlies and look at what's happening over the last few days, we are literally sitting in an accumulation. So since the 24th, you could kind of count the 23rd. We had a little bit of a down day on that one, but this is really what we're doing at the moment. We're sitting in rotation. We're just building volume, building position down here. So when this goes, it's going to go, isn't it? One way or the other. Which way? Inquiring minds want to know. So yeah, difficult one to call. What do we think? Who thinks we're going up or down today? Considering we've gone both ways already today, it's a hard one to call, isn't it? We've been down, we've gone up from the open, so we've kind of already put a rotation in today. So I think they're probably ready to go in one way or the other. So I think whichever way we go at the open today, I think is probably what we want to be concentrating on. So looking for a trend day, really. This is obviously the support at the moment from the latter part of the London session, which we're tapping down into at the moment. So we'll see if we can get a movement. But yeah, chop, chop, chop at the moment. Really choppy. Tough. It's such tough conditions to trade in at the minute. So got a nice support there, potentially, which we may pull back and use. But at the moment we're coming down. Let's get this on the M5 so we can see what we're doing. Yeah, it's tough. Still going with up, yeah? You think it's going up? Yeah, I just... I think it's more of, I think, a psychological thing. It's really hard to tell yourself the S&P is going to come down. It obviously does, but it comes down in times of absolute chaos and issues and problems. And yeah, we got coronavirus, but and we're coming into earnings fortnight. We're in the middle of earnings fortnight, and it isn't going anywhere. So it's hard psychologically to want to open up with a short bias on it. Really is, because it's just not the norm, is it? We're not used to it. We're used to waiting. We're used to it pulling back. That's no problem. That happens. We can deal with that. But pulling back to drop is just an alien thing for most people that watch the S&P and follow the indices. It's just not the norm, is it? Another range day, you reckon? 4,300 seems to be a key level. Yeah, so yeah, it's holding nicely at that level. But we've done a range today on these. So it's don't know, we're down at that support at the minute. See if this holds up down here. My hunch is the S&P will want to test the lows from earlier this week at some point. Yeah, as I said this morning, what we're doing at the moment is testing these lows from October. So September, October lows. Literally all we're doing on the S&P at the moment is we're retesting and we're holding. Look, we tested it, we've held. We've tested it, we've held. We've tested it, we've held. We've tested it, we've held. 4 days on the trot, we're holding, which is massively bullish. So it's how long are we going to test for? How long are we going to hold for? Nobody knows, do they? But I mean, at the moment, looking bullish, getting a long one. NAS. Yeah, it's holding, but it's it's really hard to ignore the press, isn't it? When there's a load of people saying, "Oh, doom gloom, it's another bubble. We're going to pop. Everything's going to go collapsing and down," and it's hard to ignore it and not have that influence your bias. But it depends whether you're listening to the talking heads and fundamental, or whether you are watching price action. If you're a price action trader, this is massively bullish at the minute. It's an accumulation, but a bullish accumulation. But if you listen to the economists, some of the economists, they're forecasting new highs within the next month. And then we got other people saying we're going to drop 50%. You know, everyone's got an opinion. Market does what it does. You get in, you get out. But yeah, I'm still 55% bullish. But I'm shocked by the speed of this move. This has been a killer. I want to use time filter in the EA for ADR to hit, but after first trade, will the EA ignore the time filter to scale in accordingly? No, the EA will not ignore the time filter. The time filter in the EA it only trades between those times. I haven't got a filter for ignoring time. It's not designed for that. It's really, it's not really designed to do that, Rahat. What I would suggest you do is, after the EA has got you into a position, turn the time filters off. You just have to kind of semi-manually monitor that one. GU just given a reversal alert. Yeah, US dollar Swiss. So US dollar's coming down, indices up, hopefully today. Come on, dollar. Dollar comes down, indices will quite often do the inverse. So Euro US dollar, just about to get a reversal at M5. GU just about to get one. We've got 3 minutes left on this candle. Don't do anything till candle close. So all starting to come down, or thinking about it. Yeah, we're only like 10 minutes into the session, so we'll keep an eye on the Euro US because that is the most extended at the moment. God, my mouse, where? My eyesight. I really need to go and get my eyes sorted. Too much staring at screens all day. Adding one on the NAS. So this is the 15-minute low. Can add ignore time filter in next update. I could add another filter. Every time I add something to that EA, it gets slower and slower for back testing and more complicated. I'm really trying not to add new functionality to it. I'll have a look at that and see if I can do it. The problem with time filtering is quite a big adjustment because it runs as a global across the entire thing. So it's actually quite a lot of work, that bit. I will put it on the list though. I'm writing it down now. Oh. Ignore. I'll put that in the development spreadsheet. Same interest rates will lead to more lending, and this pullback will be bought up by the Fed and big banks. Possibly, Laurie. You're quite possibly right with that. I think. I don't know. It's hard to think that the Fed would let the market collapse like that. But you know, bubbles burst. I'm just not quite sure what bubble we're in at the moment. You know, we're coming out the back of COVID, and it's whether or not what type of bubble is this? It's just a weird time, isn't it? Just a weird time at the moment. I think even the Fed are having problems forecasting stuff, which is why they're in so much debt. New highs being attempted on NAS. S&P. Let's put S&P on M5 so we can see what the hell we're doing. S&P is pushing. I was thinking, God, that's not going very far today, is it? Yeah, M5 pushing. New highs being tested at the moment. 1 minute left. How soon do we have the EA version with the box for price where we want EA to start taking trades? box for so the input for so you can input a price level. Running into some real problems with that on MT5. MT4 it's done, it's working. I'm not going to release it and push it out there without the MT5 version, and the MT5 version has reared a bug with that, which needs a bit of a rewrite. So it's done, it's 50% done. The MT4 version's done. I don't want to push the MT4 version out though, because everybody that's got the MT5 version will go, where's ours? And it's not right, it's not ready, so I'm waiting till they're both complete. Didn't manage to get the new highs on the NAS. S&P we have cracked. Well, actually that is that's cracked. I wasn't watching the open. I'm getting confused with my candles. So S&P is going for it. Where are we off to? So we've got to get through this level here. Then highs at 44.46 today. So yesterday's high, 44.46 is our target. Let's see if we can crack that. But really good out the gates for the S&P. Really good out the gates for the NAS. Not quite got that break though, so we'll see if that holds. Just getting ready to take one off on the NAS, put something in the bank. Just waiting to see if we do actually get a pullback or not. At the moment we're just sort of hovering. Looks like we're trying. Yeah. So I'm taking one off the NAS, put a bit in the bank. I'll add back on when we break the highs, if we break the highs. What's going on with gold? Euro CAD 150. Gold. Well, gold is obviously crossed with the US dollar. US dollar has strengthened. Gold has dropped. Same as everything else. In normal trading conditions, in a kind of risk-off type environment, you treat this exactly the same as any other US dollar pair. So it's coming down because the US dollar's pushing. When we have things like wars and other stuff going on, gold will tend to rise regardless of what the US dollar does, because people start buying gold up, which drives the price up. But a lovely bounce off it's bouncing beautifully off the 72. It's being held up. It's just in this horrible range of thing at the minute, isn't it? It's just Euro New Zealand 150 ADR. Diamond, are you in here? Are you holding Euro New Zealand still from that? Did you? Because you got in here this morning, didn't you, with a 3x position? Are you still in it? Are you still holding it? You're probably out of it. He's probably off drinking champagne somewhere. I missed it. Buying again on the NAS, second entry. I should have taken, actually just about, that's probably about right actually. So gold, if Russia invades, gold will go up. I don't want to speculatively buy gold in case Russia invades, but I don't. What the hell is going on there? I don't understand how you amass 100,000 troops on the edge of another country and go, nah. They even look like they're shooting across their border when they're training. It's like, sounds scary, doesn't it? Rahat, if RSI and ADR dashboards both green or red same time on the same pair, it's more stronger confluence. Yes, exactly. No, I'm not adding that in the next update either. You don't need that in the ADR in what? Add that update to what? The EA. The EA you don't need it, do you? Because you just set RSI extension on whatever time frames you want to, a higher, the one it's on, or both, and you set ADR. So both of those conditions have to be met for a trade to be taken. So you could do RSI extension and ADR hit together. Backtest it. You'll get a lot less trades, but you're right, they will probably be kind of A+ setups, much, much better setups. So yeah. Pete looks good for a long now. Yeah, gold, it does look good for a long. I like it here. But Diamond got out. Well done. Good man. Glad you got out finally. That thing's been driving you nuts. It's been driving many nuts. But beautiful rejection out the sell zone. Look where that move started. Sellers are stepped in. So yeah, gold does look like a good buy at the moment. Market structure's really nice on it. It's just stepping up beautifully. But like I say, with the gold, is when it comes down that elevator shaft, it's just a horrible, horrible thing to be on the wrong side of. So I don't think I would ever position trade gold anymore. I would happily take a stop on that now, and if it pushes, add to it. But it scares me. The trouble with gold is you've got two of the biggest influencers on this instrument. The US dollar has got massive news announcements, as we've just seen with FOMC, that will push it massively for days and days on end. You've got gold, and as soon as the market changes from risk on to risk off and vice versa, gold has a massive movement. If you get something that moves the US dollar at the same time as we change our risk tolerances, this thing just goes crazy, and it's just such, and that's what makes it such a big volatile beast, which is why everyone wants to trade it. But from a position trader's perspective, it's very, very risky. So, but it follows the same market structure rules as everything else. It's just you've got two really big influences on it. It's like the euro US dollar used to be when the euro had some strength, but it's good. Lovely spot to take it from though now. 72 bounce, multiple 72 bounce. It's really holding up nicely. Phil, that gold bounce got you 1.5%. Congrats. Good one. Nice little trade. It's a big, strong, quick bounce that as well. Nice little entry. M5 you probably would have got. Yeah, M5. Divergence. I must build a divergence indicator. I stopped using divergence because I found that every time I got a really good entry, there was divergence there. And every time I got an equally good entry on a different time frame, there wasn't divergence. And I was finding that if I waited for divergence, I missed some really good entries. So I scrapped using divergence because it was filtering me out of too many good trades. But it's a really, really good confluence. So that's a prime example. But it can be tricky to spot live. But that was... and there's a 3-bar reversal in there as well. Although it kind of is 4, really, isn't it? But yeah, good. Nice trade. Still pushing on ES. Still pushing on NAS. Not particularly convincingly quickly, but we're getting somewhere. Change the colour of the ADR dashboard, also red and green like the RSI. Okay, yeah, I'll put that on my list as well. ADR dash. Whoops. Colour change. Alerts. It's on the list. I'll do it. If easy, yeah. It's not too much of a difficult one. That. Well, it's not, yeah. I'll look at it. Still pushing on those indices. So I'm just opening my VPS. I just want to have a quick look at some trades that are running. Where are we? So it would help if I was on the right screen, wouldn't it? Cool. So I was just checking on a US 30 trade I was taking. Just going to close out one more long. We're having a bit of a wobbler up here, so in fact I might close out. I'm just going to go flat up there. Put that in the bank. Just in case we get a pullback. The reason I don't like this today is we've put in such a big move already. We haven't really got a massive amount of room to the upside. When you look at the average daily range, you can't really tell it in here, but if we go into so ADR, we're already 125 ADR on the S&P, and on the NAS we're approaching 125 ADR. So we've already put in our normal daily movement before New York's opened. So from a profit taking perspective, obviously, they'll be looking to sort of rotate a little bit and take profits on the moves that have already happened today. So I'm just a bit cautious about this break to the upside because, we've seen it so many times, haven't we? The break to the upside and collapse we've had happening over and over again. So London pushes and then New York collapses. London pushes, New York collapses. London collapses, New York pushes. New York, it's the same London push, New York. So just wary when we get to these highs at the moment. I'm just super cautious when we get these breakouts that happen. It's just tough, so tough to trade at the minute. Rahat, I know someone selling very good divergence tool, like the banks are doing. Yeah, DM me. DM me. I'm interested in looking at divergence tools. Divergence is a really good way to trade. There's a guy, there's a Russian guy. His name escapes me. If you sign up with, I think it's FTMO, they've got a few courses by people that they're just an affiliate basically, so they're just flogging courses for other people and getting a cut. But there's a Russian guy, and he's an ex bank trader, and he does a really good course on divergence. I mean, at the end of the day, divergence is divergence. All you need to know about divergence is when you see it, you wait for price action to confirm it, and then you get in. It's not rocket science. There's a lot of these courses. You can buy a course on this and a course on that, and they're very short. They're like 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that, or a couple of PDFs, and they really string out a really simple concept. And it's kind of one of those, but it is. It's pretty good if you're interested in learning divergence. There's a lot of info on the web about it, though. But it's good. Steve Malrow uses divergence as well. A lot of people do. But there's an indicator called cumulative delta, which is used with volume profile. and a lot of people trade cumulative delta divergence. So when you see cumulative delta is a little bit like this. So when you see cumulative delta rising and price falling, that's a real strong indicator that you're going to get a push to the upside. So it's another tool. You can use divergence on anything at the end of the day. All it's doing is telling you that this is happening and that shouldn't be happening. So therefore get ready for something. And a lot of the times it works. Boss, I just sent you a DM. Cool. Yeah, I got it. I'll have a look at that. Oh, I don't like the name of the URL. I've just seen the name of the URL. Bank's secret indicator. It's not a secret divergence. Whenever you see the word secret or magic source or anything like that to do with trading, it's not a secret. Everybody knows about divergence. The banks just use it, and from what I can see in that little video you sent me, they're using it on MACD, which is fine. MACD's good. It's very lagging, but it's good. But it's like anything, yeah? Use it. Try it. If it works for you, it makes sense to you, and it helps you and it improves you, use it. I say that about everything, but I will have a look at that. There's lots of good divergence indicators over there. TDI's got divergence. If you use the TDI Pro's got divergence on it. Don't know if I've got the TDI Pro in here. Definitely haven't in here. No, I haven't in here. So we're pulling back at the moment. I'm still keeping a long bias today at the moment until we break these lows, if we break these lows. So we're just sitting at the moment in this initial propulsion move in the buyers here. So we'll see if these guys held up here. If I get a couple of ticks up, I might try one long back out of here. Assume this is going to be a 15-minute opening range break. But the market structure at the open is obviously at the moment bullish. So if we get some bullish price action coming out of here, we'll be looking to make a new high. But that would be kind of contrary to what we've had in for the last few sessions. If only you had been a seller for the last 5 days. Or the last 2 weeks. All the moving average crossover people are going crazy at the moment. 2050 cross. It's collapsing. No, it's already collapsed. That's just told you what's happened 2 weeks ago. Ignore. Everyone's going to start taking shorts now because the 20 crossed the 50. You watch. Everybody were going, oh, short it, short it, short it. No, you shorted it there. That's why it's crossed. This is telling you what's happened in the past, not the future. It's just starting to tick up on the NAS. Going to take one long. So we're rejecting this area at the minute. Buyers stepping back in again. Nice wicks to the upside on both of these down candles at the moment. We've still got 2 minutes left on this candle, but we are ticking up. So dangerous at the moment. The amount of days this week, haven't I? I've had a decent pot in here, and just it's been eaten away. Just by chop, and I don't want to get into another choppy day. Was anybody trading indices after FTMO? I said it again. I did that this morning, didn't I? After FOMC. Is anybody trading the indices after FOMC last night? Got some seriously nice movement. If you were adding one, too long now. just broken back above the 15-minute highs. Still got a minute to candle close, but bulls have certainly stepped in there. A lot of people made a lot of money last night, I think, off the back of the FOMC moves. Shalk, sorry, I missed your message there. Taking 0.5% per day from the market, excluding indices, you will be very successful over time. Should one be looking for more from FX? It depends on the way that you trade. If, for me personally, I don't know anybody that does much more than that on a regular basis, and I'm talking consistently. Yeah, the 0.5% target a day is designed to make you 10% a month, which is around about 120% a year, which is achievable. But you're going to have months like you've seen. If you've been in the live room with me for a while, you've seen I do 20% months. And I have losing months. Every now and again, I have a losing month. And I'll have 5% months and I'll have 17% months. But if you can try to aim for 0.5% a day, that will see you good. Because some days you will make 1% or 2%. But don't just stop because you get to 0.5%. Stop when the trade is finishing. And, just it's all about the process and keeping focused on it. But if you're trading M15 or above, and you're not sort of scalping, then yeah, that is good and achievable. And which is why I said this morning when I was talking about the reality of being a trader, if you want to make 10% a month, you can do that very, very comfortably. Most people should be able to do that fairly comfortably, but you're going to need a big pot. If you want to go for 50% a month, you're going to need to scalp, and you're going to need to doing things like this and getting in quick and getting out quick. So your stops are going to be tight when the market is moving against you, and you're going to let your winners run. That's where the problem lies. To do this type of trading, scalping, this is M5. This is not real high speed scalping. M1 is high speed scalping. To do either of those takes an awful lot of chart time and experience. So if you spent 2 hours a day, if you had the time to spend 2 hours a day in front of charts scalping M5 and M1, or in front of a simulator, get home from work and spend 2 hours every evening, if your wife will let you, in front of a simulator, scalping in the simulator, that will build up muscle memory of price action. When you see muscle memory when you build that price action muscle memory, that's why I took that trade there, because I've seen this play out tons and tons of times before. That's why I took that trade. There's no rule set; it's discretionary. But if you've got to have the time in the charts, like I said, a mentor I used to have said to me, until you've got 10,000 hours in front of the charts, you're not going to be a trader. And it wasn't until I got to 10,000 hours in front of the charts I suddenly realised what the hell he was talking about. And you don't have to spend 10,000 hours. If you go into a simulator and do 6 months worth of trading in 2 hours on a faster speed, you're still seeing that price action. It's going into your head. You're seeing the patterns form. You're seeing the price rotate. You're seeing the buyers come in, taking those sell positions because they've bought and they need to profit take. You'll see that happening over and again. You'll see the waves. You'll just start to see support and resistance. Yeah, and you just see it over and over again. Like every time I look at a chart, where's the support and resistance? There and there. I don't even have to think about it. I can see it because I've just seen it so many times. When you get that sort of it's again in that PDF, I've talked about it a few times, it's the unconscious level of trading, hitting the button because you unconsciously have seen it happen so many times, you just do it. That's when you start moving down to lower time frames. The part of the problem I think everybody tries to do, and I have this again, DMs I get all the time in Telegram, does this indicator work on M1? Yeah. Have you been trading for more than 5 years? No. What are you looking at M1 for then? Don't trade the chop. Trade the stuff that moves slow, hourly, 4 hourly, daily. You're never going to make... Well, you can make decent money, obviously, doing that, but it's much harder because you're going to get less opportunities. On M1, I don't know how many candles have I got a day. I'm going to have to work this out. 24 times 60. I got 1,440 potential candlestick patterns a day on M1. Yeah, on daily, I've only got one. That's the difference, is opportunity. But on the 1 minute chart, 80% of those candlestick patterns are going to be crap, and I'm going to have to get out of those positions very quickly if I want to survive. On the daily, I've got maybe a week before that goes into enough drawdown. Closing one. Actually, I'm going to close both of those up there. Starting to... It's not looking strong. I'm really cautious about this. You know, so many times we've been hit this week with the New York downside, and I just worried being up here. I'd rather be overcautious and miss a move than get on the wrong side of it. Does that make sense, Shalk? It's a difficult question to answer, and you know, only you can really answer it by doing it, unfortunately. How do you close only one position in Ninja if two or more are open? Always close the whole lot. So you just literally hit the buy and the sell button, right? So when you hit a buy, with futures contracts, when you add a position into futures, buying one again, I think this is going, I was being overcautious there. When you... In Forex, in MT4, when we hit the buy button, we put an order into the market. When we hit the buy button again up there or down there, we put another order into the market. And in FX, in CFDs, each of these is treated as an individual order. In futures, when you hit the buy button, you enter one contract long. When you hit the buy button again, it adjusts your average and labels you as two contracts. So if you want to exit one position, you hit the sell button, and it will remove you down to one contract and then readjust to where that contract should be. So it works differently. You take a profit on your average. So every time you hit the sell button to take profit, your average will jump up. So my average at the moment now is here because I've only got one on. So I've got one position at that level. If I hit the buy button down here, I will go there with two contracts. If I exit, it will exit one of those positions and readjust. So it's just you only ever have one position. It's a completely different way of entering and exiting. The best way to trade in futures is to what I tend to do is I don't scale out normally. I exit. So I get in and I add when the price is going my way. When it looks like it's looking like it wants to come back down again, I close the lot. And then I will add in again as we pull back. So just a little bit different, that's all. Still struggling up there. S&P, I've gone over to the daily chart again. I should be watching the 5 minutes so I know where we're going. We just broken new highs again on M5. We are getting into some chop. Lovely gap on futures as well. There's a gap on the DAX that I took this morning as well. 50 to 60% of the time, these gaps will get filled same day, usually within Asian session most of the time. So always good. Good trades to take. LIFO, last in, first out. Yeah. FIFO, first in, first out. That's a good question, Sagar. I don't actually know the answer to that. It's last in, first out. Yeah, it's last in, first out with futures. So if you, which is why I tend to take the lot off, because what happens is, as you probably saw on those last 2 contracts that I had, when I took one contract off, I suddenly went negative because it's first in, first out. I'm going to have to look that up. I've never paid any attention to it because I just look at the P&L, and when I've had a decent move, I shut my position. I don't usually scale out. So it doesn't really affect me. Most people don't trade. I mean, a lot of people trade all sorts of stuff, but I'm trading the minis here because I get 20 contracts in the minis on Apex. If you trade the standard contracts, so if you just trade the normal NASDAQ, it's one contract is worth a hell of a lot more. So you would only ever get in with one contract. I personally like to get in smaller and scale in, going up. And also, if I think we are pulling back to a nice area, I will scale in occasionally when we're coming back down again, just to bring my average down, but obviously then get out quick. Yeah, it's first in, first out. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Gary's right. It is first in, first out. Because the idea being is you enter positions, you scale into positions as price moves with you. Yeah. So when you take one off, you take your biggest profit first, which brings your average up. Then you take your biggest profit again. So if you've just scaled into a position and you exited all of those, you would immediately go into a negative balance up there. Christy, sorry if you've covered this already, but how do you get and to show the P&L figures at the top? These are just floating windows. This is my account data window, and this is another account data window showing different information. So Ninja is not like a normal software. Ninja is basically floating charts. I can drag these anywhere I want on my screen. So all I've done is I've just positioned them up there so you can see them. And you can add and remove columns and do all sorts of stuff with them. Oh, hang on, sorry. Massively enlarged my OBS then, the streaming software. I was just trying to click on it to make sure it's in the right place so you can see it. So we're just pulling back a little bit at the moment on the NAS and the S&P, not massively. Potentially bullish engulfing going in at the moment. We've still got 3 minutes left on this M5 candle though. Rahat's just sent me his P&L, looking very healthy. Good month. Really good month. Couple of big days in there. That's a very, very good P&L you've just sent me there. 0.2% days, 1% days, 0.8% days, 2.5% days. That's how it goes. There is no such thing as 0.5% a day. You will have huge days. You'll have days where you don't bank anything for days. And you'll have down days. It's an average we're looking for. Long run. It's the old marathon, not a sprint analogy. Just putting back on this NAS. It looks like I bought the top. I'm going to give this candle another minute. Just getting very jittery. Just the fact that we've got such a bull candle in at the minute. I don't want to give it all back again today. GU and UJ being retested. I'll have a look at those in a sec. I just need to... Quite a critical candle here. I don't want these lows to get invalidated, which they are just about to be. Okay, closing. Looks like that's coming back down again. So GU and UJ retests. Yeah, so nice reverse alert on the 5 minute. Just going back down to retest. Same with 15 minute. And US dollar yen. I didn't get a reverse alert on M15 and M5 we have. It's got quite a way to go. It's really nice tight reversal alert, that. Really nice. It's huge risk reward. 7 pips. Already made 2 to 1. If you took it. If you wanted to use risk reward. So all these US dollars pushing up again. So a bit more strength coming in the US dollar. It's only, I mean, we haven't gone anywhere yet. We are still within, inside bar territory at the moment. So this isn't a continuation of US dollar strength yet. It needs to break some lows before we get any confirmation of that moving on. And obviously, when you get US dollar strength, as I say, you tend to get indice drops. When US dollar weakens, you tend to get indice pushes, which is why this is starting to roll a little bit. $15-minute opening range is holding. It's getting ready to add one in here. It's really sluggish. Again, the open. Adding one now. The open seems to be the wrong time to trade at the moment. We're getting so much more action in the London session. And then we seem to be getting this horrible chop until late on in New York session. It's normally the New York Open where we get the movement. But the last few weeks, it's been just like pulling teeth at the open, like this. It's just chop. It's horrible. Andy, your market reverse alert indicator is in aggressive mode. So that's most probably why my UJ is showing a reversal. Yeah. On M15. Oh. Yeah, you're probably on a different broker. Mine, I can't. Yeah, it definitely hasn't broken down below that candle. Even on aggressive mode, you're not going to get one. But yeah, you'll have a slightly different feed. Brokers are all different. This is why everybody needs to trade their own charts and not someone else's, because your broker will be different. And this is why, unfortunately, EA testing is very difficult to do, because different brokers have different candles, different spreads, different everything. Got a zigzag going on at the moment. This is why you wait for candle close. I need to put that on my chart, don't I? Wait for the candle to close. It's difficulty with Renko, obviously. Renko moves a lot faster. That's the only downside to Renko. Sometimes gets you in a bit quick. Okay, S&P's leading the NAS again. That's still coming down. I'm getting out of that. Ugh. Chop. Kind of literally, you can't make any points because you're just not getting any movement. There's no follow through on anything at the minute because we're having so much movement pre-market in London. It's just getting these horrible up and downs all the time. They hurt. Yeah, Andy, your candlesticks look completely different to mine. You just sent me a screenshot of the candles. And Darmond has just updated his chart to say, wait for candle close. Very important rule. Wait for candle close. Do you know what? That was probably my first light bulb moment, I think. Was wait for candle close. When I finally managed to get to the point where I could wait for the candle to close before I hit the button, it made all the difference. Yeah. So this one I just got in on here. Yeah. I got in when that was like that. Lovely bullish candle. Yeah, look where it closed. A bearish candle after a bearish engulfing. You'd never take a long off of that, would you? Wait for candle to close. That's what you had from yesterday, yeah. So important. Unless you're trading Renko. Obviously, on Renko, I did wait for a candle to close. Yeah, a brick. I waited for a brick to form, which is equivalent to candle close. But if you're trading charts, obviously, which is why I have the two, because this tells me early signs of strength and makes the levels easier to spot. But price action, is really candlesticks is what you need to read with it. Yeah, so if you take one thing away from today, candle close will change your life, especially on hourly and 4 hourly. US dollar Swiss tweezer tops. Triple tweezers. Well, triple top, definitely. Potentially. Again, 1 minute 49. Hasn't done anything yet. But yeah, triple top US dollar Swiss. So see if we get any bullish price action coming in. S&P is coming down to challenge that buy area. Coming down hard. We're just wick testing this doji here at the minute. Or spinning top. Some people call those spinning tops. It's spinning top doji. Again, overcomplication. It's a doji, really, isn't it? Just because it's got a tiny little body on it, that doesn't make any difference to me price action wise, whether it's got a body or whether it's got a line. It's indecision in the market. But say it's another candlestick pattern. That's a spinning top, not a doji. Another thing to learn. So just broken new lows there. Gosh, it's the most painful 15 minutes of my life. Come on. So US dollar is still pushing. US dollar Swiss. Bullish. M15 is not too bad, but it's big 3-bar reversal there. Look, big bullish candlestick pattern. So big sell-off coming in. Nice rip down on the NAS and the S&P. So got potential double bottom approaching at the moment. This 14,220. Do you know what? I've seen these numbers come up so many times this week. We've been hovering around this 14,000, 14,200 level, 14,300 level all week. Just see the same old numbers keep coming in. I remember talking about this on Monday or Tuesday, saying, you know, want to try and get up to 14,200. We're coming back down to it again. It's terrible. Where's 14? So we're coming back down to 14 again, which is held very, very well, 14. So if we do get down there again, be looking for an entry down there. Fair old drop yet. S&P's coming down, trying to find some support. Okay, so we've broken down outside the 15-minute opening range. It's going to be another one of those horrible rotational days, isn't it? Tough. So potentially we could sell off wherever we want to and then pull it back up again. So really hard to know where we're coming to today, isn't it? 14. Doesn't look like there's many places to stop on the way to 14. We've got 14,071 and then obviously 1410. Got buy area here where we accumulated and pushed out. This area here where we are right now is the most strong support resistance area we've got on the NAS. So if we reject here, 15-minute, we're in a good shot, I think. A bounce. We've got 2 minutes left on this candle. I'm just going to let this one play out. Let's have a look at what's going on over here. So there's a few more ADRs extended to 150. CAD Swiss, whoops. It's coming off 150 nicely. CAD Yen, beautiful. Off 150, 125. Euro CAD, bounce off 150. Euro New Zealand 150 bounce, just about to get a reversal alert on that one. Euro US dollar, obviously we know is struggling. Pound CAD, beautiful off of 150. Couldn't have got in on that. Would have got it on M5 though. Look at that tight one, beautiful. Already done. A lot of these played out really nicely today. Pound New Zealand, just got the alert on that. It's a bit protracted. Pound US coming down again. New Zealand dollar Swiss 125. Beautiful reversal just gone in on that one. 116. Loads of room down on that to 28 pips, more than half an ADR. And these two obviously are struggling at the highs. Retesting on the US dollar yen. Just got the retest alert on US dollar yen on M5. Prefer to see a down candle yet though. If ever you get these retest alerts on a bullish candle, I've never taken these. I prefer a bear candle. I was going to code it to only alert on bear candles, but I didn't. I just coded it to retest and then close back down. So what I do in those instances usually is stick a sell stop underneath the candle that retested. So if we get the bearish engulfing, then you get triggered in. Or you can just watch it obviously and wait and then press the button. If you get, like we were just saying, wait for candle close. If you get the bearish engulfing, then hit the button. US dollar Swiss 200 ADR, so that's pushing. So we should see the indices coming down. That's really off to the races again. Look. That did not hold. That triple top. 200% ADR. Jeez. Euro US dollar. New low. 175 ADR. Being tested on that one. Pound US dollar. Coming back down. Challenging the new lows again. See if we can get 225 on US dollar Swiss. Monthly range on New Zealand dollar US dollar has been hit, although it is the 27th of the month, so that's nothing particularly shocking. Monthly range is getting hit at the end of the month. That's what they're there for. Right, this level is thinking about holding up. So we did get the rejection. We didn't close down below. We've retested again, so we are looking bullish. We've got a nice W pattern forming. If we get one brick break back above that support, I'm going to have another go at a contract down here, assuming that this is going to be our pullback for New York, and we're going to want to end bullish. You know what assume makes? Does anybody know what assume makes? It's an old sales term. That's what assume makes. Do I have to spell it out? I'm not going to. Come on. Let's get some bullish action here. Got tweezer bottoms going in on the ES as well. Double bottom holding. It's basically, again, buyers just stepping in because they're seeing everybody stepping in at the minute. It's whether or not there's enough to push us back up again. Gary's. Yeah. Never assume anything. And arse of you and me, exactly, Peter. When people say, well, I assumed you were going to do this. Well, that was stupid, wasn't it? Why would you assume that? Big move down again. Strong push continuing down. Assuming that. I'm assuming again. Look, there goes me assuming. US dollar still pushing. God, I think we're going to have to start to change the way we think, with these indices. We're going to have to start thinking short much more. This is probably 3 out of the last 5 days now we've had this move, textbook, out of the highs, break back down. Whereas in the past we would normally get an opening range break a lot of the time. We're just getting in the opening range collapse. It's almost like every bearish engulfing above the opening range in 15-minute in New York. You just want to short the hell out of it. Not going to chase it. It's too late to get in now. But difficult mindset to adjust to, wanting to short at the open. I just get on what pair is this? Travax. This is the Nasdaq and the S&P 500 futures. Retest, there you go. So that's exactly what I was just talking about. Yeah, bearish engulfing after the retest. That's the entry candle there, that one. And if you want to, obviously if you're using a stop, that's your aggressive entry, more conservative. And if you get bullish engulfing there, and don't wait for it to hit your stop, get out. Minimize loss. Peter, I've just seen your message is held for review. Because you used the word ass. No, you didn't use the word ass. You used the word arse. That's my Somerset accent, that were. Arse. Been watching too much Hot Fuzz. Good film. Just starting to show a little bit of bullish price action coming in on the S&P and the Nas down here. Not really a reason for this to turn here. S&P, we got... Actually, yeah, there is a reason for this to turn here. We've got a little bit of buying action on the Nas, but the S&P got much more. Potentially might get bullish engulfing off this. Got 3 minutes left on the candle. I really want to see us break back above this 15-minute opening range and hold it before I start contemplating longs again. Euro US dollars trying to push off of 175 ADR. Big hits. It's done 175% of its average weekly range, the US dollar this week as well. US dollar Swiss. Big move. Okay, going one long on the Nas, a little bit preemptive. If we get the break back above bullish engulfing and we break back above that wick on this 5-minute candle, I'll go in for a second on it. Long another one. S&P, nice push. S&P's got to get through this area here now. This propulsion candle down. A lot of sellers sitting in there. Got to break that area. Same with the NAS. Got to crack that if we're going to have any chance of rotating up. But potentially we might get rejected out of that area. It's just so slow today. Convincing bullish engulfing there. Same. Looking good. So we've got basically, officially, we've got a market structure break to the downside now. So if we are going to rotate down today, we'll expect a pullback and then continue that way. But if we are going to hold at this area, which we have rejected, potentially market structure is bullish. Which it is, nobody knows until it happens. Hence our problem as traders. It's that easy, we'd all be millionaires. How many of you, who's in the UK here? You don't have to say if you're not. Actually, tell you, where's everybody from? Let's have a little, where do you live? What part of the world are you in? So I was just going to use a reference to Only Fools and Horses, but just suddenly realised if you're not in the UK, you won't have a clue what I'm talking about. Just getting a little bit of rejection out of this area on both. Currently in Portsmouth. Sorry, God, look at the lag on this stream at the moment. It's crazy, isn't it? Laurie's in Portsmouth. Diamond is in France, Ireland, South Africa, Northampton, Thailand. Peter, you in Thailand? Didn't know that. Whereabouts? I spent many, many, many months in Thailand and Cambodia. Jersey, sort of UK. I used to live in Jersey as well. I used to live in St Helier. Families from St Helier. Sort of the UK. It is the UK. It's just like the Isle of Wight, just pushed it further away. It's where you go when you've got lots of money. Tax haven. It's where Jimmy Carr is, isn't it? Jimmy Carr lives on Jersey. Officially. Not really. Went to see a Jimmy Carr show, actually. It's really funny. Really rude, but really funny. And he did make an awful lot of jokes about his tax status. Just gone negative. We're sitting hideously in chop at the moment. Pete, been there since 4 months ago. Yeah, very nice Thailand, love it. Gary's in the US. Phuket. Yeah, know Phuket well. Patong Beach I was on. I was on Patong Beach 1 week before the tsunami. And then I went over to Koh Phi Phi. And I left Koh Phi Phi 2 days before the tsunami to go to Koh Phangan. And luckily, I'm not dead. Because Phuket got hit, Patong Beach got hit, and Phi Phi Island got flattened. How lucky am I? Wouldn't be here, basically, unless I'd have caught that flight. Crazy. Not nice times, that was. I was on a scooter. I'd rented a scooter on Koh Phangan. And I was basically, I'd take my scooter up to the top of a hill, and my mobile phone rang, and it was my mum, and she was in an absolute panic. Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. Why? What's the matter? Have you not seen the news? No, it's been lying on the beach. Half of Thailand's flattened. Horrible. Beautiful place though. Really nice people in Thailand as well. Met a really nice ladyboy called Morn. She's probably not around anymore, unfortunately. She was in Patong Beach. You were in Phuket at that time as well, were you? Blimey. We probably walked past each other in a drunken haze of Sang Song whiskey. That's what I spent most of my life in Thailand doing, drinking buckets of whiskey. Buckets of whiskey. How bad does that sound? But that's how they serve it, in buckets with straws. It's an awesome place. And it only costs like £2.50. It's amazing. Eating pad thai. Literally every meal I had in Thailand was literally $1. 80 baht. Awesome place. We're getting really stuck down here, accumulating at these lows. Not actually able to get a break. S&P still looks a bit more bullish than the NAS, but we're not really getting any movement. We're holding out here though at the minute, so we'll see. These sellers basically up here just seem to be just stomping on every tiny little push. I was playing golf when the tsunami hit. Blimey. You were probably inland then, I guess. Starting to show more signs of weakness. So danger of this obviously is this is just an accumulation before the second leg. Not really got any directional bias at all. It's $2.50 now. What, for a bucket of Sang Song whiskey or for a pad thai? Yeah, I'm talking like 15 years ago I was there. Obviously, I was there for the tsunami. So yeah, that's like that was that to God. What year was it? Where are we? 2021, 2015 was it? I can't remember. 2005. God, I can't remember. About 15 years ago. Something like that. Still struggling. Accumulating. This is a bit like the price action we had at the open this morning on the DAX on the open. The market didn't move this morning on the open. Normally play an opening range breakout on the DAX at 8-ish o'clock UK time. And it just didn't go anywhere. It's really weird this morning. This market is just really weird, full stop at the minute. But 2004, there you go. Was that a year out? 2004. Yeah, 26th of December. Yeah, because I was on Koh Phangan, Christmas Day, Koh Phangan. I was sitting on a beach eating a Christmas dinner. Can you imagine that? It was like 30 degrees and I was eating a roast turkey and Yorkshire puddings on an island in Thailand. It was the best Christmas I've ever had. It was awesome. and then it just went and collapsed on the beach. Yeah, and then Boxing Day was obviously a bit of a nightmare. Not as much of a nightmare as it would have been if I'd have extended my stay on PP Island for another week, which is what we were going to do. This is just stuck. I'm not getting any movement. We're just accumulating some positions here. It's going to break one way or the other in a minute. What's going on with the US dollar? Okay, US dollar's starting to weaken. So we're getting some movement up on the US dollar. US dollar yen is pushing. So yen looks like we've got a weak yen at the moment because the US dollar is weakening across the board. But the US dollar yen is moving up, so you'll find that all the yens will be starting to push. Everything's pushing against the yen. So we've got a weak yen. So just about to get a reversal alert. So potential. Again, divergence. Bullish divergence on Euro US dollar. Lovely big target up there. Good little long. Back to the indices. No movement. Come on, where's all our liquidity gone? Look, all these lovely big candlesticks that we've had for the last week. There we go. Little pop. So just got to see if we can crack this level. If we crack this level, we potentially putting in bullish market structure. See if we can hold it. See if we can crack through it rather. So this is basically the 14,200 level. 14,200, 14,250. This is where we've been using support and resistance so far today. And obviously for the S&P 4350-ish, 4360. $312.50 is what we want to break. Nice divergence on M1 for Nasdaq. What with RSI? Yeah, got a reverse alert and retest. Yeah, we've just got to get through this area. This is the sticking point. Both of these. So you always have to think, whenever you're getting into an area like this, we're pushing up into it, the thing has got to be in the back of your mind and you need to be ready to get out of is this a pullback on a down move, or am I in a pullback on an up move? One of those two things is going to come into fruition. So you just have to make sure you're aware of which one is going, basically. So we don't know. This could just be the pullback drop. So you just need to be prepared and get ready to get out. If you see signs of a big bearish engulfing goes in now, I'm out. If we get an inside bar and we just pull back to here and we bounce off of this wick and we just sit around in here for a bit, I'm happy with that. But any kind of big bearish movement, it could easily tank. Female DJ FX trader has put on hers, on her chart. If you don't know what I'm talking about, by the way, with what this text on the chart, it's basically this indicator we've got, where you can type in basically anything you like. Just to remind you to not be an idiot for something. So anything you do wrong in your trading career or your trading time, just whenever you get into anything and you're thinking, I keep making this mistake again, have it on your chart. Yeah. So every time you go near a button, you go like this, you're hovering over the button like that. You're watching price action here, somewhere here. And above you is this thing saying, do this every time. And when you stop doing it and you suddenly look at that and go, I haven't done that for ages, take it off and replace it with the next problem. Because you're always going to have a problem. Everybody's got a problem. I've got problems. There's always going to be one. Put it on your chart. So female FX trader is use EA alone for risk management. Use EA alone for risk management. Good one. Whatever helps. Okay, coming back up to 15-minute opening range highs. We've still not broken this sell zone at the moment. Yeah, we're above it. We have not closed above it, so it's still in play till we close above. And also it's still in play if we get a bearish engulfing which closes back inside. I want to see it cleared and retested. Pushing the highs nicely. Female DJ Frizzle. Are you in Brighton, are you? Blimey. Just down the road. I was in Brighton last weekend. No, weekend before last. I assume you mean Brighton in the UK. Because there's also a Brighton in Australia, which I've been to in Melbourne. I've been everywhere. I've been everywhere. Been lots of places. Took a year out travelling, basically. So I've been to a lot of places. So if you want any tourist advice from 15 years ago, feel free to ask. I'm sure it's changed an awful lot since I was there. There's one place in the entire world you need to cross off your bucket list is New Zealand. New Zealand is the most beautiful country in the world, full stop. Where Lord of the Rings was shot, a lot of it. But New Zealand is awesome. It's got everything, every diverse geological condition. We've got, you've got glaciers there. You've got hot springs there. You've got sulfur pools. You've got glowworms hanging in caves. It's just, you name it, you can do it in New Zealand. An amazing place. There's an amazing place called Deer Park Heights near Queenstown in New Zealand on the South Island. And you can basically drive your car up. It's a national park type thing. But you're driving your car up this hill or mountain, really. It's kind of just a big hill. And all of a sudden there's a load of yak standing in the road. So I've never seen a yak in my life, not even really in a zoo, but there's loads of them standing in the middle of this road. And then you drive up the road a bit more and there's a herd of sheep. It's a crazy place. Love it. Gary Catlett, nice coastal town. That's where I tried Red Bull for the first time over 20 years ago. Yeah. Vodka Red Bull. I had one of those not so many years ago, actually. Honeymooned in New Zealand for 5 weeks back in 99-2000. Yes, awesome. New Zealand's awesome. Still pushing. The reason I haven't taken any profit off yet is because we haven't ticked down once on Renko. We are just coming up to 15-minute opening range again. But holding as long as we're going. Diamond, need to make a little more from trading before we plan a trip to New Zealand. Plus, got to wait for COVID restrictions to loosen up. Yeah, that's true. They're really hot on it in New Zealand, aren't they? I got bag checked in New Zealand. You're not allowed to take anything into New Zealand. If it's got a hint of biological on it, you're not allowed in. Bananas, no. Oranges, no. Can't take loads of stuff in. Coming out of one. Just starting to tick down at the 15-minute high. Tweezer tops going in. S&P's also stopping up there. So, how long have we got left on this candle? 4 minutes. Now, I'm going to close both of these out here, just in case. So, if we are bearish, this is a 61.8 retracement on the down move on both of these, yeah? So if this is a deep pullback on a bearish move, this is where we're going to do it. If we're going to come back and retest this area and go bullish out of there, I will add yeah, trip to New Zealand's not cheap either. I think is there direct flights to Australia and New Zealand from UK and Europe? I'm not sure whether they can. I think they can make it. I had to stop off in Singapore. I stopped off for a week in Singapore on the way. That's a nice place as well. Clean, my God, clean. They have people going around taking chewing gum off the floor in Singapore. It's actually illegal to spit. I think it might actually be illegal, chewing gum there, but it's illegal to definitely drop chewing gum on the floor or cigarette butts in Singapore. It is clean as you like. You could literally fry an egg off the pavement and eat it. But it's so expensive. £7. This is going back to 2005. It was £7 a beer. At that time in the UK, it was something like £2.50, £3 a beer. Twice the price in Singapore. Ridiculously expensive. But funnily enough, what's in Singapore? All of the UK banking. It's the Asian headquarters for the Asian session. So it's just full of bankers. Absolutely full of bankers. Crazy place. Loads of people walking around in suits, drunk most of the time. Bankers. Nothing against bankers, but they do have a bit of a stereotype, don't they? My uncle has his wooden pen confiscated at the airport in Australia, Luke. Yeah. They are really hot. Australia and New Zealand are really hot on everything. You know, when because at the time I was backpacking. So you turn up to an airport with this huge backpack and they pick on the backpackers. And do you know how difficult it is to get your entire life into a backpack only to have somebody put it on a metal bench and pull everything out that you've taken an hour to pack and then said, yep, you're all clear, off you go, pack it all back up again. It's like, Mate, where am I going to do this? You want me to move off this metal thing, but you've emptied my entire life. So we ended up buying suitcases. That was my last backpacking experience. When we got to Australia, we upgraded. Went suitcase. It's good fun backpacking with a suitcase because you turn up to all the next places where all the other backpackers are with their rucksacks on, and you turn out with a suitcase, you look like a tourist. All good fun. Yeah, oh no, I remember that if we ever played golf there. You're in Singapore, Adrian. Lovely. Is the Merlion still there? I had my first Singapore sling in Singapore, obviously. Went to the Raffles for tea in Singapore. Very clean. It's just starting to tick up. So we've got this gap, propulsion gap formed on the NAS, which is currently being supported. Looking like we're going to tick up. 3-bar pullback. Toy with the idea of whether or not to get in on this one. I'm going to get in one. I'm going to keep a really tight stop on this though. 290. If we break back down below 290, I'll jump out. Just don't want to see this get whittled away today. It's happened a couple of days this week. Add one. I'll add one on a break. And assume we're going to go for new highs. Marina Bay, that's it. Merlion statue. And there's also a, I think there's a bar overlooking the bay down there, which is where the Singapore sling was invented. Well, we were told that was where the Singapore sling was invented anyway. And that is actually where we had our Singapore sling. Whether or not they were just marketing ploy people, but apparently there's a bar there and it's world famous for being where the Singapore sling was invented. But I obviously had no way of verifying that at the time because we didn't have smartphones back then. So I had no internet and I couldn't be asked to go and look it up on the internet because everywhere you had to go to look at anything up on the internet cost you an absolute fortune, and the internet was about 48k. So loading a web page was a good 5-minute job. And I'm pretty sure, especially in Thailand, I'm pretty sure they throttled the internet back because when you're in any internet cafes, when you're traveling, when you're a traveller, they basically come round and offer you drinks and stuff. Do you want a coffee? Do you want a tea? Do you want a beer? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I'm pretty sure they throttle the internet back to make your browsing experience as painful as long as possible so they can serve you more drinks. It's a bit like being in the casino. You can sit at that machine, sir, and we'll continuously ply you with drinks as long as you're sitting at that machine, pumping dollars into it. I think it's the same thing in internet cafes when you're taking a year out travelling. They know what they're doing. Bullish engulfing just going in on the NAS. Got 2 minutes left on this candle, but we're re-challenging the 15-minute opening range. S&P still got to try and crack through that, and obviously we are up at the highs of the day, close to the highs of the day, so might find a bit of resistance up there, but let's see if we can get up to the top. Long bar in the Raffles Hotel, is that where it was invented then? The long bar, was it? Because I went to the Raffles, went for tea at the Raffles, and we had a Singapore sling in the Raffles, but then we went to this place on this little bar that wasn't in the Raffles. They said they invented it. Actually, they didn't say that. Somebody said that was a place that invented it. So back then, I had the those, I can't remember what's the book's called. The guides. I can't remember the name of them. We had one for every country, basically. Not even sure if they exist anymore because they're books. We don't use books anymore, do we? Oh my god, brain's gone. But yeah, I've still got them somewhere, kept them all. But literally you had this book and it was all about the country, and depending on how big the country was, how thick the book was. The Singapore one was obviously quite thin. So literally on the plane to every country we went to, we would just go through the traveller's guide, whatever it's called, and literally learn as much as we could about the country we're going to, and then pinpoint where we wanted to go. And this guide said this place invented the Singapore sling, so we went there. I'm pretty sure their Singapore slings were way more expensive than everywhere else as well. Double topping. We just got Christmas tree lights going on at the minute. Another accumulation up here. Tricky spot. Lonely Planet guide, that's it, Adrian. Thank you. Yeah, Lonely Planet guides. Had loads of them. And stupidly, and I don't think I'm the first person that's been travelling that's done this, we bought all the Lonely Planet guides in the UK to all the countries we were going to go to. And of course, what did we have to do then? Lug them around with us all the time. So America was my last stop, then New Zealand, then Australia before that, and then obviously Singapore and Thailand, all that lot. So obviously I was carrying this Lonely Planet for Australia and New Zealand and America around, all the way around Thailand, Cambodia, Singapore, Hong Kong. It's like, buy it in the country, you idiot. This is coming down again. It's got a long way to go on this candle. I'm coming out of that one. I don't like this. This is choppy. Just chopping around in here at the minute. I don't want to hold on to this if it's not going to go. So potential market structure shift on this. Just chopping. We got like 20 minutes there, literally 20 minutes of chop. Just accumulating orders, me being one of them, for the next leg. Don't know which way this leg's going at the moment. There's just not enough price action today to decide. We've done it. We've done the rotation today already. I think we're just going to sit and chop around up here for the rest of the day. I can't see any reason why they're going to push for new highs today. So I think we'll probably call it a day there. I'm going to just take that. 386. Um, 350 banked on Dow this morning, so it's not a bad day. $700 roughly. What's going on with the US? US is pushing up again a little bit. It's chop. So you look at the session here, yeah. New York, we literally have got no liquidity in New York. Everything's done its ranges, and this is something. Obviously, this is one of the reasons I built the ADR indicator and the ADR dashboard. One of two things happens when you get an ADR hit. You either get the ADR hit and the bounce, which we've seen off of a lot of these today. A lot of these have done lovely ADR bounces, or you get an ADR hit and an accumulation, which is typically ready for a second leg, and then obviously you would get in again and get out on the next day after that. But this tells you, you can, like I was saying, as soon as we came into this session, not quite sure what we're going to do today because we've already done our ADR. So we've put in that move already. So it's likely we're just going to sit in accumulation, and the US dollar is confirming that as well. The US dollar is just sitting in accumulation at the moment. We're coming up for like 20 past 4. So we're 2 hours into the session and we haven't gone anywhere. So not really tradable today. Done well to squeeze out what I've squeezed out of that move. to be honest. Quite happy with that. So yeah, nothing much happening on that. Bearish wolf wave on the NAS 100 5-minute chart. Luke, you've done me there. I don't even know what a wolf wave is. That is something I've not studied. A wolf wave is a chart pattern composed of 5 waves. It's a 1, 2, 3. That's Elliott wave. Pretty much same thing. So it's market. It's just market structure. So this thing. This is why this is obviously just another sort of 1, 2, 3 pattern of Elliott wave theory, which is great. And this is why I stopped studying. I left one of my mentors because I was getting to the point where it wasn't making sense to me anymore. I'd been taken to break-even level and I was doing really well, but I couldn't quite get over that. That next step. I kept hitting the walking on water stage and dropping back. So I went off to study Elliott wave, and I spent a good year studying Elliott wave, and I came to the same conclusion with Elliott wave as I would probably come to if I studied wolf wave. If you stick a zigzag indicator on your chart, that's really all you need. And Elliott wave, wolf wave, all that sort of stuff is an overcomplication of zigzag. And zigzag is a basic representation of market structure. So when you study all these waves and things, they are really in depth and really complex, I find, to study. And some people get on with it and they just get it and it clicks and it's their thing and that's it. It works and that's brilliant. But I just found, and most of the people I've tried to study Elliott wave with and have tried to trade Elliott wave with all came to the same conclusion at the end of the day, that it's really difficult and slightly overcomplicated because there's so many formations of them. And like anything, like chart patterns, I showed a chart pattern this morning when I was trading, was it US 30 or the DAX? I think it was the DAX. I put it in the Telegram group. We were trading, we were saying about head and shoulders patterns. Yeah. And somebody spotted a head and shoulders pattern down here. Yeah. And I said, head and shoulders patterns are great. You always spot them. Yeah. Really easily. And then there was another head and shoulders which I actually took in. That was the one I took. Sorry, that was the one I took. The one that I didn't take was the one before, that one. Yeah. Head and shoulders patterns are really easy to spot. They fail way more times than they work. And you can always spot a completed head and shoulders because you see the down leg. And then you go, oh, before it, there was a head and shoulders. And you go, oh, they look like good patterns. If you actually go back and study, and I've got 2 on the chart here that failed right in front of us right now. 2 failed head and shoulders. That's not head and shoulders. That's what you would see after a head and shoulders. What you would see is a drop. If you go back and study your charts, and you will find way, 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 way more head and shoulders patterns that fail than head and shoulders patterns that work. Neckline break, enter, massive drop. Yeah. Same with Elliott wave, and I did a lot of study at Elliott wave, and I did a lot of back testing Elliott wave theory, and I found more Elliott waves failed than succeeded. And the same problem I had and still have, and all traders really have, is in theory a head and shoulders is great. And the logic is sound. Neckline break, enter, stop, trade. The problem everybody has is holding to get a risk reward ratio that is big enough out of them. And that was my problem with Elliott wave, was you've got to, when you get an Elliott wave happening and the Elliott wave actually works, they're amazing, but you would never hold it. So therefore the failure rate outweighs the success rate, because you never get the risk reward out of the ones that actually achieve the full potential, because you never hold it long enough. Because you've had so many failed Elliott waves in the past, or Wolf waves, or Head and Shoulders, or any pattern really, it becomes difficult to actually make them work. But if you can make them work, if Wolf waves look good and you use them and you think they just work for you and become profitable, fantastic, use them. But that's just my take on them. After and I spent a lot of time trying to make them work, because I really love it. Everybody loves Elliott wave, and it is a really good theory. But by the time you've spotted a 1, 2, 3 or any kind of wave pattern, you end up sitting there waiting for the next part of the pattern, and it invalidates, and you're like, I've been waiting days for that, and it doesn't work. And then you got to go, right, okay, let's try and find the next one. It's just so annoying, which is why I like simplicity. That's massively extended. Take a long. That works way more than any other pattern, wave, or anything I've ever found. Yeah, get in short. That doesn't work. Get in short. That works. One of them will work, because all these guys that have bought, and I keep saying it, I'm not going to milk it, but everybody that's bought there has got to take a profit. They didn't do it there. They added to their positions, so now they've got to take a profit. You get in when they're buying it. You just get out when they take their profit. There's probably an Elliott wave 1, 2, 3 in there, but I can't be bothered to study it, because I just know that when we get up there, we end up getting sellers. It's just so much easier, isn't it? So you just wait for reversal alerts, wait for market structure breaks when the sellers are ready to come in. Simple, very simple. Keep it simple. Everything in life that works is simple. Yeah. Everything in life that is complicated breaks. I had a really nice Porsche 911, beautiful car. Do you know how much broke on it? Everything. It was going wrong all the time. Lovely. When it worked, it was beautiful. But that thing was in the garage more than me. It was awful. It was just terrible. It's a bit like, I love Porsches. I've had Porsches all my life, but it's a very complicated machine. Therefore, things go wrong with it a lot. Things like heat shields. Most cars don't need their heat shields replacing on a regular basis. Porsche do, because they get really hot. And heat shields start to rattle. So all of a sudden you get a rattle. You take it in because there's a rattle on your heat shield, and they go, no problem, we'll put a couple of bolts in your heat shield. Did you know, while we're under there, we found this? There's another $2,500, sir. Too much complication. Keep it simple. Yeah. Buy a Ford Focus. They don't go wrong. If you're not in the UK, it's a Ford something else probably. Anyway, going on about stuff now. I'm getting irrelevant. So we are breaking down. Glad I got out of that one. We're just pulling back down into 15-minute opening range. So we are rotation this afternoon. So I'm not going to bother with it anymore. I'm going to take that and walk and see where we go tomorrow. So hopefully we're going to end up with an update today. Looks like we're going to end bullish. If we end with a doji indecision again, your guess is as good as mine as to whether this bear run is going to continue. But as it stands at the minute, we are stuck in a control candle from that move. So we have not broken out of the end of that trend. We've put a bullish hammer in, and we have not closed back above. So until we get a break above that level or that level, we are accumulating. The next move is likely to be the directional bias that we go for the next leg, whichever leg, however long that leg is going to last, whether it's going to be that 20, 30, 40, 50% crash everyone's talking about, or whether we're in the pullback for the new highs. But at the moment, we're in accumulation, so no directional bias. So literally at the minute, pick your direction. Buy it, sell it. Support, resistance. That's all we can do. Okay, so that's really all I've got. Anybody else got anything else they want to talk about, look at? Pairs wise, not a lot else happening today, is there? Obviously, all the 4-hour extensions. We'll look at all these tomorrow morning. These will all probably be gone. So anything you get into this afternoon, quite possibly, is going to be all played out tomorrow and banked. So just keep an eye on these. Look at this, 85s now. US dollar yen, euro US dollar, 85 extensions. Big extensions on those two. Tweezer bottoms going in. Divergence on low time frames. Massive divergence now on the euro US dollar. Divergence is getting bigger. A lot of buyers coming in. So all looking good. Retest on CAD Swiss M15. That's already tested. So yeah, all good. So I'll leave it there. Anything else you need, let me know. Come in the Telegram group. If you like the video and like the stream, give me a thumbs up. I'll be back tomorrow 8:30. News-wise this afternoon, just before I go, we are clear of news. Pending home sales we've had at 3 o'clock. Doesn't tend to do an awful lot. Friday, tomorrow, we've got PCE again at 1:30. So pre-market open, we've got some decent news. So I'm sure we will get some more movement on the US dollar, probably in Asia as well overnight. Earnings wise, we got Caterpillar and Chevron, and aftermarket we've got Apple today. So again, more shake up. It's going to be another volatile day tomorrow, I think, in preparation for the second week of earnings next week. So yeah, all looking good. Lots of volatility around out there, lots of movement up and down, lots of opportunities to make money. So just keep an eye on everything, keep adding to what you need to, and obviously keep your eye on the dashboards if you've got them to alert you to new opportunities. All right, guys. So have a good evening, and hopefully you can bank some cash. I'm going to call it a day there. I've banked enough today, so I'm just going to chill. I'll be back tomorrow at 8:30, same time, and we'll go over the setups for tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.